we can talk about what's on your mind and your programs and kind of customize it around that. Does that work?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, cool. So what we've done here is we've compiled basically, we work with 150 colleges and universities across the country, all different sizes. So what we've done is we've compiled feedback from all of them into one, what we consider to be kind of best practices for faculty-led programs. And so we call this kind of the A to Z workshop to building outstanding faculty-led study abroad programs. And goes from everything from the beginning, finding the faculty, to post-trip after you've had your experience, and everything in between, kind of what's essential to make sure that your program's successful, to make sure that it's safe, and to make sure that, more students have the opportunity. Yeah, so that's kind of essential for us with all programs, that, they're safe, they're authentic, they're affordable, etc. Right? So these are can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is kind of an overview, what we're going to go over, basically engaging faculty, the optimal timeline for if you start early, but long story short, if you start early, your program will be successful. What destinations, how to choose them, what's appropriate, customizing your program to bring your class to life, and then adding in special components to make the program really stand out and, special. How to keep it budget friendly and affordable, going through the back and forth with whatever provider you're working with, promoting your program to ensure that more students know about it, pre-trip orientation, safety briefing, smart travel, etc., making sure everybody's ready to travel, and then what's essential to do on ground, and then what's essential post-trip, collecting all the information, the feedback, etc., and then basically modifying, replanning, and going and traveling again. So that's kind of the overview of what we'll cover. At any point, guys, and I'll check in with you if you have any questions, after each section. But at any point, if you want to jump in and you have any questions about anything, please don't hesitate. Okay. So first things first. Faculty is absolutely the most important part of the entire process, okay? The professor chaperones. They're the ones that are the energy behind it. They're the ones that are going to, basically make or break the trip. So, this leading programs, faculty-led programs, it's not for all faculty, but it's definitely for the right ones, the ones that understand the importance of the programs and want their students to have the opportunities. And many, many faculty that I work with are also my dear friends. And, they can't say enough how it's changed and enriched their own lives. So, the faculty is most definitely the engine behind all of these programs. And, I've worked with some professors that they've done, for around 12 years, they've been taking groups abroad, and they've seen the entire globe, and their trips make year after year after year, because they have this energy and this passion that they bring to the students, and the students want to explore and experience the world with them, right? So that's the most important thing. Valencia College, you guys have a great system with the PLIT program, the professor leader in training, I believe it stands for. Mm-hmm. Did you do that, Brian? Are you going to be doing that on the upcoming the Belize trip, or how does that work for you?
I am doing that this summer on a trip that we have going to Norway and Denmark.
Oh, great. We're coordinating that one. So excellent. Yeah.
Okay.
So Violetta, Valencia College, they make it mandatory that if you are going to lead a program, you have to first join a program prior to shadow it as a co-leader. Which I think is a great way for training the professor, to kind of get them to understand, how it works, what kind of situations might be involved, etc. Right? After that experience, you're going to be motivated. You're going to be excited. You'll know what to do different on your program, and then you'll have a professor leader in training on your trip who you'll pass all that information on to. So I think it's a beautiful system. And it'd be great if all schools could do that. However, it's not possible. A lot of schools They're not set up to operate that way, but it's amazing for training aspect.
Yes, I think it's awesome. We are trying to figure out a way to, we don't have the capacity to have the exact program, but
right.
at least take a couple of best practices to implement in ours.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that after that, like Brian, the most, for example, let's take a look at your program in Belize, right? Medical allied health focus with emergency medical services, right? So that's at the point where we need to connect. So we need to get you connected with the on-ground team, the local support, to help take a lot of work off of your plate. So you can focus on the course, you can focus on the experience, and then you're connected with the on-ground team to take care of all the logistics, So all of these are essential to allow you to perform at your best, right, while abroad. Optimal timeline. It's perfect that we're having this conversation now and Valencia College does a great job of this as well, is getting started early is absolutely essential to all programs. So this, in my opinion, is a timeline that any institution or school can use and adopt, and they'll be successful. So basically deciding what your program is going to be 8 months to 12 months prior to departure. Okay, so basically where we are right now in November, that would put us in perfect timing for a spring break 2021 trip. Okay, now obviously you can do it in shorter time period, but it's essential to start promoting your program between 12 and 9 months before the trip. It's absolutely essential because students need time to save. They need to find out about the program. And that allows you proper time to get everything coordinated, go through all of the administration process, etc. So deciding about 1.5 to 1 year beforehand where we want to go, what itinerary we want to do, etc. And then boom, ready to start promoting 12 months to 9 months prior to departure. Yeah. Guys, there's quite a bit of background noise on one of the mics. I'm not sure.
Might be mine. Let me see if it's probably mine. I'm using my headset and
try muting for one.
Comment.
Try muting for 1 second, Violetta, and then jump back in if you have any comments, please, or questions. Yep. Okay. Cool. We're good. So yeah, Violetta, please jump in at any time. And Joy, welcome. I'm happy you're joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi. Hey, I realized I didn't have my video on, so I want to say hello to you visually as well.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay.
Joy. So Joy's another Valencia College faculty member. Welcome. One of your colleagues, Brian Spangler's here as well. I'm not sure if you know each other. You're probably on different campuses, but if not, you're all part of the same family here.
I know Brian.
Oh, you do? Okay, great. Yeah. Small world. Joy, we're talking about the essentials for faculty-led programs to make sure the trips are successful. And we started with optimal timelines. So basically deciding, pretty much 1.5 to 1 year prior to the program, where you want to go, what the focus is going to be, starting your promotion 12 months before the trip. So that way, 3 months prior to the program, 100 days prior to the trip, you already have your confirmed group. Yeah, that's essential for airfare. And for your own internal policies at Valencia College. And then most important, and then at 1 month prior to departure, that's when we all meet again like this, and we have everybody in the classroom, and we do a super in-depth pre-trip orientation meeting with smart travel advice. And normally we have our group leader guide that's going to be with your program actually call in on the Zoom chat, so they get to know their group leader and guide before the trip, and they get to ask them the students have the opportunity to ask any questions that they might have. Okay. Does that seem like a reasonable timeline for you guys?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Valencia's timeline, so it works.
Okay, cool. So guys, choosing destinations, where, when, why. Okay. Basically, whenever we're deciding where we're going to take the group, the most important things to decide: one, is it safe? Is it safe to travel there? Two, is it cost effective? Is it an expensive destination? Is it within reach of your student population? Is it popular among students? Yeah. I think it's important to branch out and diversify locations. Absolutely. But at the same time, if it's something completely, if it's a destination that the students might have never heard of, or, the program might not be popular enough to reach whatever the minimum is at your institution. So these are important things to look at when you're deciding your destination, where you want to go. Also to decide if there's other programs on your campus that are going to the exact same destination, so you don't have competitive programs. If there are programs that are going to the exact same destination, maybe speak to the professors and see if there's a way to combine the trips. So you could have two different areas of study. It could be cross-discipline programs. Students from different parts of the campus can come together and get to know one another. That's a great way to do cross-discipline programs like that, right? So decide where you want to go and all of these points. When you want to go there, are we going to try to avoid high season? Are there special events going on during that time that might make it more expensive? For example, the Olympics in Tokyo, Japan programs this coming summer are more expensive, just accommodation prices being up. Extreme weather. Do you want to go to India during the monsoon season, June, July, August, where it's, 105 every day? These are kind of essential things to decide when you want to take your group. And why do you want to go to that destination? Is it just, it's an exciting destination for you, or is it an exciting destination that can really allow your, the field to become your classroom? Okay. Does it really relate to whatever course that you're going to be teaching? Right. So where, when, why, these are important things to keep in mind. Now, Joy, can you please remind me where you're taking your group next year?
The plan is, it's actually not next year. My trip is in 2021, and it would be for Antigua and Barbuda. 2021,
excuse me. Yeah, I'm always thinking 1 year beyond. Yeah, so
right,
Antigua
right.
and Barbuda, exactly. Perfect.
Right. My question is, and the reason why I chose Antigua, actually, that is where I'm from, so I'm very familiar. That's where I was born and raised.
Absolutely.
Antigua Barbuda was affected by the hurricane 2 years ago. So even today, the infrastructure, they're still working on it. And so right. The decision was to go to Antigua and then perhaps do a day trip via ferry over to Barbuda.
Right.
For me, the service project, actually I'm doing service learning.
Right.
And there is an agency already on the ground in Antigua, an environmental action group.
Yep.
And so I wanted to know how would Study Abroad Association partner with that particular agency, because they know the lay of the land.
Yep.
Some of the activities that we have already started discussing are favorable.
Perfect.
For a proposal. So I wanted to connect both the Study Abroad Association with that agency and see how that partnership will work.
Yeah, it's a great question. I'll give you an example of how that, because we do that all the time. For us, the most important thing is keeping it local on programs.
Yeah.
So we have local on-ground operations in over 30 countries around the world. Where we have on-ground staff and teams that we've been working with for many years, and that's continuing to grow. Antigua and Barbuda are not one of those destinations. However, what we do, since you already have a local on-ground team, basically
yes.
What we do is we would just work with you to maintain communication, to make sure that they're responsive and that they're following all of the necessary steps to hit the deadlines with Valencia College and all that. And we can assist with transferring funds, collecting all the information from them. So making sure that the hotels that they're going to be staying at, et cetera, are on point, assisting with the airfare, et cetera. So that's, in this case, if it's a brand new destination, we would work directly with the organization that you found.
Okay.
And then because, we're approved vendor at Valencia College, and then we would maintain the communication on both sides. So that way you don't have to, for example, if they're not responsive, you don't have to worry about that, because we're going to take care of that. you know,
Got it.
for
Okay.
example, right? So yeah, basically what I would suggest you do at this time is I'll send you my email as well, but send us over all the information that you, and the communication that you already have with them, and we can get the ball,
Yes.
right?
Okay, I will do that. Perfect.
Perfect. And then Brian's taken his group to Belize.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, do you want to tell us a little bit about kind of what you're envisioning for your program?
Well, I guess, opportunities to learn about their healthcare system. I think we're in the process of talking to 2 different hospitals about opportunities there. And then we're also trying to get connected with the regional ambulance service. And so to kind of just offer a compare and contrast perspective of how healthcare is delivered in Belize versus what we're accustomed to here in the U.S.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and that's a great location to offer this program. We take quite a few groups down to Belize each year for allied health focused programs, and the reason why it's a great destination is because it's English speaking as well. So it's in Latin America, but it's English speaking, so the students can absorb a lot more information if they're not bilingual, and they can communicate with the doctors and nurses, the emergency caregivers, etc. And they're also able to see, social medicine and how it works in different countries. So yeah, that's a very exciting program. And we look forward to collaborating on both of those. So, guys, I'm going to go here. Go ahead.
Coincidentally, I am actually going to Belize next year as a PLIT.
Are you?
Yes, for a service learning project.
Perfect. You're going this coming summer.
Correct. Yes.
Excellent. We were talking about that earlier, right before you came in. That's amazing that everyone that becomes a faculty chaperone at Valencia needs to go through the leader in training process prior. So it's extremely helpful.
Okay.
Guys, so the next step is basically customizing your program. You know where you want to go, you know when you want to go, you know why you want to go there. The next thing is like, okay, how are we going to bring this trip to life? Okay. The first thing that I want to encourage you to do is to not settle for a program that you're not passionate about. Okay. Don't settle for a pre-made program that's not 100% focused around your vision. This is your program. You want to promote it. And to do so, I believe that you should be passionate about it, which means that you've taken the time to build it to really correspond with your course syllabus, okay? Now, whenever you're deciding about your program and how you want to customize it, it's important to keep in mind your student population, okay? How long can your students be abroad theoretically? Are they working students that have multiple jobs? Do they have families, et cetera? How long can they be gone for, right? Semester programs are amazing. Full immersion, long-term study abroad programs are excellent. However, they're out of reach for many students. So we can look at how to customize the program for the ideal length for your student group, okay? At the same time, it's important to understand that, if a program is 14 days in country, they can take advantage of scholarships like Gilman, okay? So to find the balance between what you think that how long your students can be gone for, and if you want to go ahead and push it to that 2-week period so they can receive the Gilman scholarship. Jocelyn Morales, welcome. I see that you've just joined now. If you have any questions at all, feel free to jump in, okay? Not sure if she has her mic on.
Will there be a rep from Study Abroad Association in country?
For your program in 2021?
Yes.
We can definitely discuss that as we go down the line.
Okay.
We personally like to have on-ground support from our team on all of our programs. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we definitely let's just discuss when it will be and who can go there to observe. But we love to open up a new destination. So my answer is why not? Let's do it.
Okay.
So it's good. Now, guys, the next thing after you decide the length of your program, it's extremely important to decide, what type of program you're going to offer. Is it going to be a city stay? Is it going to be primarily located in, taking place in one location, one city with excursions? Is it going to be a cross-country program? Are you going to go to multiple cities throughout the country? Or is it going to be a multi-country program? All of this is important when you're looking at the budget for your trip, because all of this is travel cost, right? Also, if you're going to be visiting too many places during your itinerary, there might be too much travel time and not enough on-ground time. Yeah, you want to try to really enhance the experience and spend as much time with your feet on the ground as possible, right? So I'd say keep that in mind when you're doing your rough draft, when you're creating your initial draft of the itinerary. Keep that in mind. What's realistic? What allows the students the optimal experience? Okay. Also, with your daily layout, how are you going to structure your day? Do you have a certain amount of contact hours that you need to satisfy? Does that mean that you need classroom time, or can the actual field be your classroom, right? So if you're doing service learning, like Joy's going to be doing with her group, then they're going to be doing volunteer hours, and we do service contact hours, etc., to achieve whatever is necessary. Brian, with your group, I assume, is it a special topics course, or what is the course that's going to go in conjunction with that, Brian?
We haven't really decided for sure. It'll either be special topics, or I know we had talked about there might be some opportunities to do some teaching there or whatever. And if so, then maybe service learning as well. Just kind of depends on what we come up with. So
yeah, the workshops, Brent, the workshops are amazing, and the local on ground support, the medical personnel in Belize, they love the workshops, and they request them. And normally, 9 months in advance at least, we have a list of topics that they would, mass casualty, for example, how to label patients properly, these kind of things. And they really, really, really enjoy those types of workshops, and adds a lot of value to the program. So
yeah, I think good. So
yeah, so I think that will work perfect. That will match those. So basically, when you're structuring your itinerary, decide how you want your ideal day to look at. You want to incorporate cultural activities. You don't want it to be 100% focused around, the course or the service work, but how to balance it out and have a really well-rounded program is ideal. In my opinion, guys, less is more, okay? When it comes to excursions, activities, and, sightseeing and stuff like this, less is more, and or less travel within that country, to really have the group have the opportunity to become familiar with the location they're visiting, and have their feet on the ground as much as possible, and not traveling constantly from place to place. I encourage you to look at that possibility when you're structuring it, and then obviously choose the right provider for you. Local provider, or whoever it may be. Find somebody that's going to work with you to bring your vision to life. Okay, don't settle for a program that you're not ecstatic about, right? Speaking about, do we have any questions about that, guys, about customizing program, or is that all? It's all crystal clear.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Okay, cool. Experiential learning. This is, for me, one of the most important things, and for us, of the programs. And these are kind of what makes the programs stand out, and that makes them very memorable for the students who and the faculty who had the experience. Let's take a look at what kind of hands-on experiences we can have in that destination that are unique to that destination. Things that can only be experienced in that location, right? And really take the time when you're building the itinerary to envision that, and to decide what do you think would be an optimal experience for the students, and let's incorporate those for them. So that can be everything from an inter-exchange experience at a local college or university, where they have the opportunity to meet local students, and they can compare, contrast, etc. What's how their programs, if they're studying law, how law works in the United States, and they can say, well, this is how law works in Peru, and back and forth like that. Or if they're doing medical, they say, they're meeting with the nursing students in Belize, they could say, they can, compare how the nursing education is in Belize in comparison to how it is in the United States, and opens up a lot of conversation for educational as well as for cultural. And as much authentic activities as you can incorporate, I think it's always a good thing. So local cooking classes, visits to local markets, anything that is traditional and authentic, try to incorporate that into your program. Site visits, and as many insider experiences as possible will really make your program stand out and will really make it a memorable experience. This is just to give you a little background on this photo here. Here we're in the highlands of Peru, and they're about to go on a trek. And so basically they just came to an organic coffee farm. They're learning 100% about coffee cultivation and the entire process from, picking the fruit off the tree to removing the protective layer from it, to drying it, to roasting it, to grinding it. They did the entire process from hand to hand, and it was all fair trade organization. So it wasn't mass produced coffee, it's organic, and it was very eye-opening for a lot of these students to understand the economics behind it, but also like, wow, that's where my coffee that I drink every day, that's where it comes from. So these type of experience are essential. And then obviously service learning as I think is a great component to add into every program, not just a program that's 100% about service learning, but every program can have a service component to it very easily. Program budget. So for a program to be successful, we need to make sure that it is within reach of the students, right? And everything that we incorporate into a program comes with a cost, okay? Either time or money. So basically understanding, your wish list of what you'd like to incorporate in your program, understanding what costs come along with those, with that wish list, with those items, and understanding if that's really essential to the program. If it's not, let's keep it optional for the students. Maybe a day where we have free time. If it is, then let's definitely incorporate it. Yeah. Accommodation. Do we want to look at places, big chain hotels, or do we want to look for more authentic guest house that are family run, or possibly top-rated clean youth hostels, right? Whatever type of accommodation we choose, let's make sure that we're using the, guys, sorry, there's some background noise on somebody's mic, quite loud. I'm not sure.
That might be me, Brian. I apologize really quickly.
No, you're okay. Don't worry, Joy.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay.
So what I was going to say is choosing the proper type of accommodation for your group can really offset the budget and help keep the program affordable. Transportation. Are we going to use private charter buses throughout the trip? Or are we going to use local transportation throughout public transportation throughout the program? If it's safe, if it's reliable, I would suggest using public transportation. Let's do as the locals do. Let's save money, and let's learn how to navigate this country where we're going to, right? More often than not, we'll find that authentic equals affordable and affordable equals authentic, right? So normally the more authentic something is, the more affordable it is, because that's what the locals are doing. And I highly recommend that you keep your program as authentic as possible and really avoid the tourist experience. Obviously while keeping the program safe. Sometimes authentic. If it's truly authentic, whatever destination you might be going to, sometimes authentic is not what you want for your student group. However, most of the destinations that we are going to, we can definitely provide a really real authentic experience and lower the cost greatly, and definitely enhance the experience. Yeah. And then of course, professor to student ratio. So everybody that's in the meeting right now, you guys have a fixed ratio. Normally it's 10 to 1, 10 students to 1 professor chaperone, or it might be 8 to 1. It's important to keep in mind that whatever that ratio is, that's going to reflect on the cost, right? So the smaller the ratio, the fewer participants, the higher the cost is going to be, right? So what I encourage professors to do is to go for a higher ratio, to go for a 10 to 1, for example, and keep the program price more affordable. So therefore more students can actually afford it, and you get to your 10, no problem. That's our job. Our job is to help you promote your program and make sure you have everything to make sure that it's successful. So, you know, get into 10 or get into 8, whatever it is definitely possible, and we'll help you get there. Okay. Let's move down a little bit. After you've gone through deciding where you want to go, customizing your program, making it perfect, what you want, you know, now it's time to finalize your itinerary proposal and push it through whatever system your institution has set up for you, okay? Each school's different, but like we mentioned earlier, if you get started early, you're gonna have plenty of time to do this. We can help you with all of the information you need to make your process smooth and take as much work off you as possible, meaning where are we going to be staying? What place of accommodation? What is risk management, emergency evacuation? Where's the itemized breakdown for the budget of the trip? What airlines are we going to be going on? Who are the local group leaders? What insurance do we have, et cetera? All that stuff, you know, reach out to us. We'll provide that to you, so you don't have to worry about that. You can just focus on your course and developing the syllabus around your course. And of course, getting your students excited about it, okay? Program promotion. So guys, this is very, very important. You can use this if you're more in an administrative role like Violetta is, or if you're a or faculty educator role. A lot of these can go for both sides, okay? So take the ones that you like, and if you need more ideas, don't hesitate. I'm always available to give you ideas for promoting your programs. This is me 10 years ago. I'm wearing the exact same shirt. No, I'm joking. I'm not. It's a different shirt, but this is 10 years ago when I used to assist Oklahoma City Community College with promoting their programs. This is back in 2009. And this was basically, we set up a table twice a week inside the student union. And while students passed through to grab their lunch and stuff like this, they said, oh my gosh, study abroad. I've always wanted to do this. I didn't know this was available, even though we had posters all over the campus and they received emails or whatever. Having an additional area for that could attract them to come over and find out more is essential, okay? So easy to navigate website. This is more on the administrative side. Make sure that the website's easy. The students can get all the information they need easily. Study abroad culture on campus. Let's have it be known on the campus that there's international opportunities. And there's many, many different ways to do it. Like I mentioned, the table here, having, you know, evenings where we all come together and we watch a documentary about that certain destination that we're going to be visiting on the big screen, whatever it is. Study abroad fairs and things like this. Let's let students understand that these opportunities are available. Okay. Design marketing materials. We can help you with that, making very, very attractive marketing materials that can be posted around the campus electronically and hard copy that can help promote the programs and you know, attract the students. Campus-wide email blast. If you can do this, this is hands down the most effective tool to let the students know about the programs that are going to be taking place. In that same email, you can let them know about informational sessions like we're having now. And you can also share with them directly the itinerary links right there. Informational webinar sessions, since everybody that's in this meeting right now is attending from a different location, this is essential. People are on different schedules, people are on different locations. Use webinar, it's free. You can use Zoom or whatever you want. We use Zoom, it's free. You can record it, everybody can access it at a later time. It makes it very helpful to help promote your program and to get the essential information to everybody, okay? And then study abroad student ambassadors. I think this is a very important one. Students who have already been on programs, use them to help promote programs for the future students. More often than not, they really, really want to share about their experience that they had abroad, and, you know, having students communicate directly with students or faculty communicate directly with faculty is extremely helpful. A lot of schools will ask us about fundraisers and things like that they can do. I don't know if that particularly relates to your institution and if that's something you're open to. However, you know, we've had groups in the past. There were art students. They were going on an art program to France, and they did a fundraiser doing window art for the holiday season at local shops in their town. It was a community college. However, the money that they generated from working together on this offset all of their meal cost in Paris throughout the entire week-long program. So, you know, getting creative, coming up with ways, and any way that the students can save money and make the program within reach of more students, it's going to be helpful, okay? Do you guys have any questions about program promotion or any ideas that you might be doing that should definitely be added to this list?
What are some examples, Brian? You said are really good, effective fundraisers that, you know, yield some really good results.
Joy, was that question to me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Sorry, no, sorry. I thought you said Brian. I thought you said Brian at the beginning.
I did. I made a mistake. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. I'm Christian, but
Yes.
no, you're good. You're good. So what we've done in the past that's been effective is I'll give you an example of one student. She contacted local companies in the area, and she told them about their program, and she said, I'm going to be going on this program. We're going to be doing, it was a service learning program. We're going to be doing service learning work in this destination. This is why it's important to do the work here. Would you be willing to sponsor part of my trip if I wear one of your company's t-shirts in front of these iconic locations throughout the program and take photos and tag you in social media and send you the stuff, right? So this is one thing that she did. Obviously, luckily she had multiple shirts from that company, but she did it. She wore it in, and she sponsored that company in front of these different locations throughout her program, and it offset the cost of her trip. So this is something that you guys could do for a service learning program, especially if you put a nice story behind it, why you're going there, what you're going to be doing, how it helps support the community, et cetera. So people really understand that, hey, wow, this is of value. You know, you could reach out to local businesses in the Orlando area who possibly have routes or connections directly to the location that they're going to be visiting, which I assume is possible. And, you know, reach out to local businesses and say, hey, would you like to be a sponsor of our study abroad trip? And, you know, you guys can make a shirt and, you know, they could do that. We've had other schools, for example, that did a Ecuador. This was last summer. This was Central Piedmont Community College out of North Carolina. They took a nursing group down to Ecuador, and they did a lot of amazing work down there in conjunction with a local medical school and a few hospitals. And they designed shirts that the nursing students wore around campus for, you know, months and months prior to the program. And it had one of the scan codes on the back of it. Basically in big font, it said like, you know, help support our trip. We're doing amazing work, something like this. Scan the code. They ended up raising $75,000. The entire nursing group, $75,000 prior to the trip that was donated directly to the causes that they were working on. So obviously there was some help from the local hospitals and pharmaceutical companies, but that's an idea, right? So basically, if you have your students that want to do the service learning program, make shirts, put the scan code on the back of them. And that scan code leads them to the GoFunding page that you make for your group, and then boom, people can donate right there, and every little bit counts, you know. But I'd be happy to set up a call with you and to brainstorm on ideas, and I can share many more, you know, many other successful, you know, fundraising ideas and things that have worked in the past and other things. If you have time and you'd like to do that, it'd be my pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anytime. Absolutely. So guys, pre-trip orientation meeting, for me, this is one of the most important steps of the entire process. And it's something that, that we provide you on all programs. We like to set up a pretty much about 45-minute, 1-hour session with the students where we get everybody in the classroom, or they Zoom in like this. And we go over the itinerary day by day, what to expect, how to prepare yourself, what to bring, what not to bring, how to pack, what currencies we're going to be using. Make sure that you call your bank before the trip so they don't block your card. what necessary steps you need to take prior to travel. You got to have your passport for sure. You need to make sure that your visa, et cetera, all these things. And to introduce them to whoever the group leader is, that the local group leader on ground. Would like to zoom them in as well if the time difference is reasonable, you know, get everybody in the room, discuss everything, answer all their questions. And by doing this, it really avoids a lot of problems. It avoids students overpacking, you know, bringing these huge 6-month suitcases for a week-long trip, packing completely, bringing things that they do not need for the destination that they're going to visit. You know, you don't need high heels if you're going on a Costa Rica field study program and you're going to be in the rainforest the entire time, for example, right? Or you don't need a big winter coat if you're going to Costa Rica, you know, at all. So we like to get everybody together, sit them down in the room and cover all of these details. And most importantly, go over safety briefing, what to do, what not to do, and how to prepare yourself for a successful trip. And one of the things that, Violetta, I'm not sure if you're doing this at Broward on your trips already or not, but I encourage you to, for the future, and it's something that we're doing on all of our programs now, is to set up the group WhatsApp chat with everybody so they can download WhatsApp prior to traveling. Everybody's connected into one group. And the reason it's great, one of the features is the shared location. So if anybody gets separated from the group, they can find the nearest place with the Wi-Fi, or they can go ahead and pay for an international data plan, which is quite affordable nowadays to get an international data plan while you're abroad. And in the case that they get separated from the group, or if there's any kind of emergency, they can ping the group directly in the WhatsApp chat, and we can respond and we can know exactly where they are. So these are kind of things that we like to do prior to traveling. Yeah. And go over all the essentials.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we're doing that too.
Awesome.
And then we recommend to the students, if they don't have an international plan, to connect to Wi-Fi, which is in most countries where
available everywhere.
It's available. Yeah, when it's a little bit more remote, it's more complicated, but we do have a group where the students share experiences afterwards. Even they keep the group open.
Exactly. You keep the group open and they're still chatting, months after the program. And it's also a great way for them to share photos and videos and things like this throughout the program that you can use for future promotion as well. But yeah, I'm happy you guys are doing that. I think everyone should do that, either that or a Facebook group or something, but a way where everyone can communicate easily with each other and be able to share their location in the case of emergency. Yeah. So moving on, does anybody have any question about pre-trip orientation? Normally that's done around 4 weeks to 6 weeks prior to departure, if that's what you're wondering. But any questions, guys, on that? No? All right.
No.
Moving on. So on-ground briefings typically are kind of a repeat of the pre-trip orientation, except for we incorporate the on-ground orientation, understanding where everything is in relation to wherever we're staying, wherever our place of accommodation is. So where's the nearest clinic, where's the nearest ATM, nearest grocery store, what to do in case of emergency, where we're going to meet, all these kind of things. But this is essential whenever you get everybody together at that first place of accommodation, or even at the airport upon arrival, to say, okay, guys, you're here. We're about to dive in. We're about to jump on the tube, the subway, the metro. We're about to dive in. And so we want to make sure that all of you are aware of your belongings, be aware of pickpockets, etc. Here's maps. Here's local contact numbers. Let's do this, Something I encourage you guys to do as well with your groups is every morning after breakfast, ideally, or during breakfast, have a briefing of what's going to happen during that day. Our on-ground team does this every day with the group anyway, but do this as well as the professor chaperone. Have a morning briefing with them. Guys, this is what we're doing today. This is what you need. This is what to expect. This is the layout of the day, da-da-da-da-da. And then at the end of the day, when everybody gets back together, have kind of an evening debriefing with everybody, you know, a little bit of reflection. It's a great time to have group discussions, reflection, what went on during the day. You know, were there any problems? Are there any problems? Is anybody feeling sick? Does anybody have any accommodation issues? Is there anything that we need to know about? Now's a great time to let us know about this, and to not wait till the end of the trip. Let us know about it now, and we can take care of it now, and we can make it better for you. Okay, so I would suggest that on all your programs, to make sure that you have a morning briefing, an evening debriefing, and get daily feedback from the students, because it's essential. You know, I've been a group leader many times, and I still lead groups, and you know, there are many times that I got information too late, and I wasn't able to fix it because it was already too late. And if I would have known about it, you know, earlier throughout the program, then I could have made the modification, you know, with the room that they had that they weren't comfortable in. I could have made that modification earlier in the program to ensure the you know, the satisfaction of the students. That's the most important thing, and for the faculty, of course. But you know, the students are our top priority. And then post-trip, this is very, very important. At the end of your trip, it's essential to collect feedback, to get testimonials, to get written feedback. You know, what did you like about the program? How can we improve? How can the local operators improve? What did you think of your guides? What did you think of the places that we stayed? Let us know, right? File any necessary reports if there are any incidents. Use the testimonials that you get from the students as promotion for your next program. Pump those into the campus newspaper, the college newspaper, students sharing about their experiences. Students sharing about their experiences and faculty sharing about their experiences is so powerful. Word of mouth is the best way. And like we discussed in the beginning, the faculty is the engine behind all this. So what better way to come home and to share about your experience and to motivate your colleagues to create possibilities like this for more students. They say that only 1% of the U.S. student population actually studies abroad and takes advantage of these opportunities. When you look at like a college, I think Valencia, I think you guys have somewhere around 65 or 8. Do you know how many students you guys have? 65, 80,000 students, something like this?
That's average, yeah. 75 to 85,000.
85,000 students. And I think Valencia runs around 10 programs
Correct.
to 15
on
programs
average
a year. Yeah. And then around 20 students per program, you know, max. So we're looking at, you know, around 250 students in comparison to 65,000 students, you know. There's plenty of students there to be able to create more programs, right? That's what I mean. So like, if the faculty's passionate, the trips will make for sure. It's not a question about too much competition or whatever. It's the faculty being passionate about it. There's definitely enough students for the programs to make. Good thing to do after the trip as well, look at your itinerary. What do we want to modify? What do we want to adjust? Do we want to offer this destination again next year? I suggest schools to repeat programs, you know, at least 2 times, because a lot of students find about it the first year and they're like, oh, I really want to do that, but I don't have enough money this time. And then when it comes around to the next year, Italy's not available anymore and they're doing, you know, Greece instead. Greece is still great, but, you know, they really had their heart set on Italy. So, you know, try to have repetitive programs, modify the itinerary, obviously, but, you know, repeat destinations. And you'll see that when the students come home and they said, oh my gosh, we had the most amazing time in Italy last summer, and they tell all their friends you need to do it, well, that's good because it's already being scheduled for the following year, right? And then, of course, review, improve, and repeat, yeah? So, yeah, guys, that's kind of the A to Z for running essential, and we kept it right at an hour, for running an effective study abroad program. If you guys have any questions, faculty-led program, if you guys have any questions at all, my email is right here, christian@studyabroadassociation.com. I know I'm connected with most of you already through email, but any questions at all, don't hesitate. This is my mobile number right here. You can call me on that anytime, and I'm happy to brainstorm with you about your program, about promotion, about fundraiser, whatever. this is what we love to do, and this is what we're passionate about. So we're happy to help you. Okay. Okay. Do you guys have any questions at all about anything before we close it up?
No, thank you for the information and everything. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, Brian. And
Very, very informative. Thank you, Christian.
hey, you're welcome. You're welcome, Joy. And I was going to tell both of you, we can set up a call, you know, next week or even later. I have workshops throughout the entire week this week, but I'm happy to set up a call with you next week if it's possible prior to Thanksgiving. That'd be great, or whenever
Yes.
works best for you, and we can go day by day on your program and answer all your questions, so that way you can have it submitted in time.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
I will reach out.
All right. We'll stay in touch. Violetta, any questions?
Hi, Christian. No, this was very informative again. Year after year, we try to make our cycle more standard, more earlier than before.
No, it's
Still
challenging.
a constant challenge here at Broward, but this is always good. So I was just wondering, you know, if we could have you know, the recording of the meeting, because I think one of the projects for this year is to create kind of like a handbook for faculty that are interested, and then a continuation of for the ones who are planning a program. We're still not as developed, you know, as Valencia, but I think this would be really helpful for faculty that are thinking about it.
Absolutely. I will send you, I sent everybody an email before the meeting. I'm going to send everybody a follow-up email with the YouTube link with this, and you can, and I'll send you the PDF as well, and you can use as much of it as you like, and, you know, and modify, etc. It's my absolute pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you, Christian.
All right, everybody.
Great. Thank you, Christian. Do you have a minute to stay on the call? I want to ask you about something about the Paris trip.
I do, Violetta. Can I WhatsApp you?
Yes.
Okay, I'll WhatsApp you, and then so that way I can close the recording. How's that?
Perfect.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.